I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. We're coming off of 2 straight dubs, and our form is starting to turn around. So now we got to look forward because we got a huge matchup on Wednesday in the Copa del Rey semifinals first leg, where Real Madrid will be traveling to take on Real Sociedad. And this, you already know what I'm about to say, is a must-win game. The elusive Copa del Rey trophy, the tournament that I've only seen us win one time in my 10 years of being a fan. Literally, the Champions League. It's easier for Real Madrid to win than Copa del Rey. Some way, somehow, we just always find a way to not get that trophy. And I really do want to win it this season. I want to see that, right? Last time we won was a few years ago when we beat Osasuna in the final, right? Rodrigo had a very good game. But we are only 3 matches away from winning this tournament. So we got to take care of business against Sociedad on Wednesday. Now, you know what's so interesting about that is because the other semifinal draw is probably the most exciting one out of the 2. And you can say that Real Madrid got the easier draw, but we're definitely not going to underestimate Sociedad, right? Because they are a team that can definitely hurt us. And the other matchup is Atleti versus Barcelona. So we're going to be facing one of them if we advance to the final, but we need to do our job in this first leg. Now, Atleti versus Barca should be fire, right? I'm definitely going to be doing a hate watch for that game, live stream right here on the channel. But look, man, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad, it should be pretty interesting, right? But before we continue, I need you guys to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, get in the comment section, and let me know what you're saying for this match. We're going to talk about both teams, and then at the end, I will be building the expected starting 11. Now, let's get into it, and I do want to start off with Real Madrid, and we are sitting second in the league, right? We are level on points with Barcelona, but we're still behind them, right? And aside from the win that we just had against Girona over the weekend, the 3 games in the league before that, we had 1 loss and 2 draws. We were sitting top of the league. We had a nice little gap, and we fumbled it. So now we're sitting here in a title race. And it was always a title race, but now it's really a title race in terms of we're not in control of our own destiny anymore. We're going to need some help. But the reason why the league form is important is because, especially in these domestic competitions, you already played these teams that you're going to be going against earlier in the season. And this is your bread and butter. This is where you pick up your form. So, look, man, in 25 games, we got 16 wins, 6 draws, and 3 losses. It's kind of annoying, right? Our last 5 games, mid-form, right? We've won 5, in our last 5 games, we've won 2, we've lost once, and we've drawn twice. Not good enough, right? Now, just looking at the form that we've been on in terms of the individual games, we just beat Girona 2-0. Thought the game was a little bit shaky, right? Luka Modric scored a screamer to open it up, and then Vinicius got a goal in the second half. I actually think that Girona defended pretty well, right? The match before that, we got a 3-1 victory over Man City in the second leg of the Champions League playoffs, right? We knocked them out. So just based off the 2 results that we're coming off of, I feel super confident heading into this game, right? Again, domestically, aside from the Girona match, yeah, we dropped points over the last few weeks, but things are starting to turn around. Now, in Copa del Rey, I think the last game that we played was against Leganes, and Gonzalo Garcia, the kid from our academy, he won it for us right at the end with the header. I think before that, we played Celta Vigo, and we beat them in extra time, right? They made a comeback towards the end. Then I think Endrick scored a brace. Arda Güler got 2 assists. It was a stressful game, but it was fun, to be fair. So, look, I'm liking what I'm seeing, basically, heading into this match. Now, speaking about the last time that we played Real Sociedad, we did beat them 2-0. And this was maybe like the 5th game of the season. This was way back in September. Now, let's not get things twisted. We got the 3 points, but both of our goals came from penalties, right? Now, I do not think that we played well against Sociedad. To be honest, Sociedad is one of those games where I honestly believe that we should have lost. They hit the post 3 times before we even had a shot on target. We could have been 2 or 3-0 down before we even got that first pen. I'm going to be honest. The post that game was the man of the match because it saved us throughout that game. Sociedad were creating a lot of chances versus us. And by the grace of God, we got something from that game. So, again, I don't want to just say, okay, well, look, Sociedad, they've been kind of mid this season, so we should definitely be beating them. Look, things don't work that easy. And I think last time we played Sociedad in Copa del Rey, I think they knocked us out a few seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken. So this could be a team that does give us problems. Last time we played them, we did not play that well. The post saved us, and we scored 2 penalties. Now, this is the first half of the season, obviously, because we were shit to open up the season. So, I think we're definitely not going to play like that. We do look better defensively. Our attack is clicking a lot more. So I don't think we're going to struggle like how we did earlier in the season. But still, it is something to keep in mind, right? Now, let's talk about Real Sociedad, because in La Liga, they are currently sitting 8th. They've actually not been that good. Now, I will say that recently, right, they have been better than they were to start the season, because at one point, they were sitting in the bottom half of the La Liga table. But they've climbed their way back up to 8th. They technically are still in contention for a European spot, but they have an uphill battle because their form has just, in general, not been that good. Like, they've been very mediocre. And I think a lot of people thought that they would do a little bit better than what they have. But look, man, in 26 games, right, they've only won 10. They've drawn 4 times, and they've lost 11 matches. That is crazy, right? And they also have a 0 goal difference. Like, they're not really scoring that many goals because they have less goals scored than matches played. But you would also have to give them some credit because defensively, right, they've also conceded less goals than matches played. So offensively, they're being let down by their squad. Now, looking at their form for the individual games, they are coming off of a 2-0 win. A 3-0 win versus Leganes, right? They are in the Europa League, and they did get a win versus Midtjylland, and they actually did just draw Manchester United. And I'm telling you, that game's going to be a snooze fest. But regardless, right? In Copa del Rey, they did beat Osasuna to advance to this round. So, look at their last, let's say, 6 games. In their last 6 matches, they've only lost 1 time, right? They beat Osasuna. They beat Espanyol. They beat Midtjylland. They lost to Real Betis. That's their 1L. Then they beat Midtjylland again, so that was in the Europa League playoffs. And then they just beat Leganes. So they are on decent form at the moment. Now, they do have a talented squad, right? The one player that everybody talks about for Sociedad, well, it's 2 players, but the main guy is Zubamendi. Zubamendi is a very good defensive midfielder, right? He's one of those players that a lot of teams around Europe want. We saw Liverpool, right? They spent most of their summer chasing this guy, and he ended up rejecting them. He decided to stay at Real Sociedad, but the rumors are not going anywhere, right? Like, he's being linked to Arsenal. He's being linked to all these different shit. He's being linked to Real Madrid. So we're going to get a chance to see Zubamendi up close and personal since those links have come out that the club are scouting him. Now, me personally, I don't think that we need a defensive midfielder, right? I don't think that we need a player of Zubamendi's profile. He is a very good player. But If Danny Ceballos can continue that great form that he's been on recently, then why would I need him? Especially when I have Camavinga and Tchouaméni. But he is a very good player, and I don't think he will stay at Sociedad for that much longer, right? The other guy that a lot of people talk about, Takefuso Kubo, the right winger, Japanese player. He's very good as well. He was in our academy, right? I believe he was also at Barcelona, and then something happened, so he had to go back to Japan. Then we brought him back, and then we sold him because we loaned him and all these different things. He's a good player, right? He's definitely somebody that can cause us problems defensively with his skill, right? Very technical, can link play, has a decent shot on him. So these two players right here are the ones that I'm the most interested to watch, to be very honest. But they do have other good players as well, right? Like, for example, see, I always butcher this guy's name. Mikel Oyarzabal. Look, I don't even know why I tried, bro. Like, every single time I try and say it, it sounds like my tongue just gets twisted. But we can keep going through their squad, right? And definitely, if anybody in here is a Real Sociedad fan, let me know what you're saying for this team. It's pretty decent. But again, Zubamendi and Kubo are the two players that everybody is 100% going to be locked in on. Now, just looking at their injury report, let me know if any of these guys are very important for them. Because I'm going to be real, I don't watch Sociedad. I haven't really watched them since we played them back in September, right? I know that they did get some big results. Like, I think that Sociedad, they either beat or drew with Barcelona, right? So, I think I did do a watch along for that. But just in general, you guys got to let me know. I mean, they're saying that Kubo here might, well, I don't know, because they're saying disciplinary points, but could that be in the league, or is that for this match? Because that would be a very big miss for them. But yeah, guys, look, let me know what you're saying about Real Sociedad, right? Get in the comment section if you do watch them, and tell me something about them that we may not know, right? And why, if anybody thinks that they can beat us, you think that, right? Now, let's talk about Real Madrid, because we got to look at the injury news for our team, right? Now, this is the healthiest that we've been, right? Like, this is fantastic. Now, obviously, Eder Militao and Dani Carvajal tearing their ACLs, it does suck. But just in terms of the health of the squad, the injury report has not looked this light in about 2 seasons, bro. Now, look, Militao, that's a big miss. But with him being injured, we've discovered Raul Asensio. So while I'm sad that Militao has torn his ACL again, I am very happy that Raul Asensio has emerged, right? We literally have the Sergio Ramos regen in our back line. Dani Carvajal did his ACL against Villarreal, right? He's not going to be back for the rest of this season. So, we'll see both of them next season, maybe. But looking at the other guy that's on this list, Jude, right? Jude is suspended for our La Liga matches, right? He's not suspended for the Copa del Rey. So he will be available for this match. But he is not going to be here against Real Betis. And then he's also going to be suspended for the first leg of the Champions League final as well. But here's the injury and suspension update for us. Only 2 players that are going to be missing this game, Militao and Carvajal. Jude will be available. Now, let's get to my favorite part of every single match preview. I literally love building the expected 11. Like, I love just predicting what will happen. And I do think that with this being a big game right before a lot of other big matches, just like we did against Girona, Carlo has to rotate a bit this match, right? Because we can't afford for any players to get injured, but we also do need to win this game. And here's how I expect us to line up. So 4-2-3-1. And I think in goal, you got to go Lunin, right? I don't think that Courtois should be starting this game, right? We don't really see Lunin play that much because he's a backup goalkeeper. He's a number 2. But Lunin is a fantastic goalkeeper. We saw that last season. And the cup games is when he's supposed to get an opportunity, right? Goalkeepers are not like outfield players where you sub them on during the middle of games. No, whoever starts the game for the goalkeepers, you play the entire match. Unless you get a red card or something crazy like that. So I think Lunin needs to be back in goal for this match. Now, at right back, I would actually go back with Lucas Vazquez, right? I actually think that Lucas Vazquez was decent against Girona, and I think he can start this game because we should be dominating the ball anyways. So that would give Lucas Vazquez a chance to overlap and get involved in the attack. Now, at right center back, see, this is where things get a little bit tricky because I'm going to go Raul Asensio, but I do think that Asensio will need rest eventually, right? The guy is starting week in, week out nowadays. And look, he's been fantastic this season. Asensio's been our best defender, right? I actually think that he's been our best performing defender this season, just across the entire back line. He's been phenomenal, right? Like, yes, I'm annoyed that we didn't make any defensive signings. Yes, I'm annoyed with all the injuries that we had. But if it wasn't for those two things happening, we would have never discovered Asensio. He would have never gotten an opportunity. So I think that he will start this game. Now, at left center back, I think that we are going to go Rudiger, right? David Alaba did start against Girona. I don't think that David Alaba is going to start back-to-back games coming off of, because that was his first start since he's come back from injury. I'd be very surprised if David Alaba starts this game. So Rudiger got subbed on towards the end. I think that Rudiger will start this match. And at left back, I think that we're going to go Fran Garcia, right? We haven't seen Fran Garcia in the starting 11 since, I believe, Osasuna, right? It's been Ferland Mendy in our last game against Girona, and it was Ferland Mendy against Man City. I think that Fran Garcia does return to the starting 11. Now, in the double pivot, I think that you got to go Camavinga, right? Camavinga has definitely let me down as of lately, right? I think that he's regressed this season, and I think that he's been making a lot of mistakes, but you have to start him in this game, right? I think Camavinga is still a very good player. Camavinga is definitely somebody that I believe has world-class potential, but his mental mistakes, like the rash tackles, right? Making mistakes that lead to other teams scoring goals. He has to cut that out of his game. And if you've actually noticed, I think that he's kind of been knocked down in the pecking order because Dani Ceballos now seems like the guy that starts more times than not. And then Camavinga seems like he's been on the back burner, more so coming off the bench. But to be fair to him, he has been dealing with a lot of injuries as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is at the start of the season, he missed like 2 months. He got injured right before the Super Cup, and then he came back, and then he played Liverpool, got injured after that game, and then had to miss like another month. So it's just been a very rough season for Camavinga. But I believe if he's fit, you got to start him in this match. Now, next to Camavinga, see, this is where I'm trying to contemplate because I don't think Luka Modric will start. Luka Modric just started against Girona. He played a majority of that game. Is Carlo going to start him twice at 40 years old? I'm not too sure. I think we go Dani Ceballos. I think this is going to be the pivot. Dani Ceballos and Camavinga, right? And the reason why I'm not going Valverde is because even though Valverde did not play against Girona, look, I fully expect him to be in this 11. But I hope that Carlo rests him a little bit more, right? Let Valverde come off the bench this game. I don't think that Valverde needs to start, right? I think that we should be able to beat Real Sociedad without Valverde in the 11. So what I would also do here is in the 10, you got to go Jude, right? Jude, in my opinion, one of the best midfielders in the world. He's not going to be available for the game against Betis, and he's not going to be available for the first leg versus Atleti in the Champions League. So he doesn't need a rest. He doesn't need to be rotated this game. No. He can start. On the right, see, I think that you got to go. See, the thing is, chap, I don't know if he's going to play Arda. That's the problem. We haven't seen Arda in the last 5 games. I feel like Arda might start this match, to be honest. I'm going to go Arda Güler, man. I think Arda goes out there. On the left, I think he'll go Rodrigo. I can definitely see Vinny being dropped for this game. And then up top, got to go Mbappe. I highly doubt that Endrick starts this game. So this is the 11. This is how I think that will line up against Real Sociedad. And I believe this is a good enough team to get the dub. I mean, come on now, right? But we also have to find a balance. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get some things wrong, but we have to find a balance, bro. You can't just start the same 11 every single game. We play Real Sociedad. Then after that, we're going to take on Real Betis, and then we're going to be playing Atletico Madrid. We cannot afford for any injuries to pop up. So, Carlo, you got to rotate the side. You got to give Arda Güler a chance, right? This guy should not be going with 0 minutes in 5 straight games. Like, that's unacceptable, bro. But this is what I'm going to predict, right? Even though it says expected 11, I'm going to just say my starting 11. Because who knows what the hell Carlo is going to do. And this is what I think we should do. So, that's how I view it. But let me know what you guys are saying about my 11. Yo, big up to everybody that's watching, right? Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, get in the live chat, and make sure that you are back because we will be doing a watch along right here on the channel. Holla Madrid!